But you know what? That's only game 1. Let's go to game 2 and see what's going to happen this time around. Cringe Crew will once again be the order side. Paradigm will be the chaos side. I want to see where they end up with Paradigm in, because I don't mind the Chaac pick. I'll say that now. I don't mind the Chaac pick.
I like it.
It worked early game. It worked mid game. They had a good impact with it. I don't like the Chaac and the Khepri together though. Just because Trix and Xaliea, I need one of them more aggressive, man.
I disagree completely. Chaac is a fantastic initiator. That's his best trait.
But he's not. He was a counter initiator most of the time. Then
that was Cringe Crew.
Which
and that's Paradigm has to adjust the play.
QVO, right? With Khepri, you can't really counter initiate that much. Like when you're being assaulted, you've got to sit back as Khepri the whole time. I feel like you're not playing to Trixtank's strengths. I love Paradigm to death, and that's why I'll call him out a lot, because it's like, listen, these guys they should play to their strengths, and they kind of switch things up there.
You pick the Khepri, the support with no initiate, but you get Chaac and QvoFred's Cabrakan.
Tell you what you do though, you get Apollo. You get Apollo for Funballer. Get him on that. All right, they're going to run the Khepri back again
one more time.
Right? Apollo's a little bit more aggressive, though, than a Hou-Yi. Hou-Yi requires a team in front of him. Apollo can split push, turn up to a fight late, or turn up to a fight early when you don't expect it compared to the other Hunter. And if Shaggyshenk's going to run that Chronos, this is an opportunity for Funballer to make quick rotations to the team fights before the Chronos can get there. Or split push to victory. He's got the option of both.
I just like Apollo in general. I'm not...
You're not down?
I'm not sold on your explanation simply because I think there was a lot of initiation already on Paradigm. We'll see where it goes. But as it stands, Apollo and Khepri, I'm not going to say no.
You say there was a lot of initiation on Paradigm last game, right?
On the draft, yeah.
No, I mean like in team fights.
I said on the draft.
Cabrakan, who is initiating those fights?
Chaac money.
If you're telling me a silence from Chaac when he goes up in the air is going to initiate a team fight, I'm down as the enemy team, because I'll walk away from that and be like, oh, guys, they're initiating. We'll just wait for the silence.
But you can only walk away, and so many of those kills were brought to you by a big silence.
That's what I wanted. So, Bakasura got banned by Cringe Crew in the counterban phase. This time around, Paradigm's like, no, we will take it early. You expected us to pick it? Well, guess what? We are going to pick it, and we're going to draft it earlier this time, which means their bans may change a little bit in the counterban phase just to make sure that he has an easier time of things.
So Bakasura is a character that this is not his first time in the sun. He has gone on vacation, but now he is back and he is proud. One of the first players to bring Bakasura into the solo lane specifically was Xaliea.
Doesn't necessarily mean it's solo lane though. Frostiak early today ran the Bakasura in the jungle.
Yes.
However, Cringe Crew, they expect it's going to be Bakasura solo because Cabrakan banned out for QVO. And to be fair, I think Cabrakan Bakasura combo sounds absolutely revolting in competitive play.
Yeah, it's absolutely nothing you want to deal with. Zhong will be picked again for the middle lane.
So this is potentially Bakasura solo. Still, Bakasura jungle is available. Paradigm hold their last pick, and most of the time when they do that, they generally give that to Xaliea. So it's giving me an idea that maybe, just maybe, that is a Bakasura jungle.
I'm expecting it to be a Baka solo even still.
I agree, but I just think the idea behind it. It's always been the plan of Paradigm to always hold that last pick for Xaliea, but maybe this time around it's like one of those, get them in a situation bait thing.
Exactly. You always got to be a little bit wary when they leave that open, and I think you're totally right in that regard, as Bellona's picked up for Cringe Crew, and they round out their composition very cleanly. Sobek and Chronos will wind up in the long lane, Neith in the mid lane, Thor and Bellona in the jungle solo, respectively.
Now, Bellona versus Bakasura is not a matchup we've seen too often, but I'm pretty sure Bellona's going to be fine in that lane.
Yeah.
You can max Scourge, you can max Bludgeon, whichever you want. You're not going to get, pulled out of it. Chaac, when it's Bakasura jungle, I had a feeling it was going to be back in jungle. We saw it by Frostiak. We're going to see it this time round by QvoFred. The issue here is the initiation from Paradigm is a very similar situation as last game. They're going to have, it's Chaac initiation now.
Yeah. Chaac is the
Baka can initiate, but...
Yeah. Chaac and I think you'll see the Chaac follow up Baka, or Baka will follow up Chaac. Chaac comes in, hits everybody with the ultimate to silence them out, and then QvoFred comes, vomits everywhere, and that puts the cripple. You follow a 3-second silence with a long cripple. All of a sudden, whoever's jumping away has 5 seconds on their movement abilities. They're getting smoked.
Now keep an eye out if you're Cringe Crew. If you're a Cringe Crew fan, Cringe Crew need to play very, very safe early game, because this could be a rinse repeat of what Paradigm and Dignitas happened. Paradigm lost to Dignitas game 1. Game 2, Paradigm got angry and forced things early.
Yep.
And with this composition, they can really do that. Xaliea with that power pot early. QvoFred, if he gets level 5 and goes all into you, there's a chance that we could see Paradigm try and wash this game in under 20 minutes. But it's not an easy task. They should be looking for the early mid-game composition here for the aggression before we get to the stage where Baka falls off in mid-game and comes back on late. Because you've got Lawbster, who's realistically, he's going to take a while to come online. They need to force the early with the Chaac, with the Apollo, try and put some pressure on the map early.
Throwing dagger start for the Apollo, no surprise there. Throwing dagger start for the Neith. Still don't like it, folks. Still don't like it. Kero does, though, and he's the one playing in the SPL, so we'll see the 10% crit and what it can bring to the mid lane against Lawbster's Zhong.
The reason a lot of people discuss the throwing dagger on Neith is the fact that she's ability-based hunter, and she gets a lot of scaling off her abilities too, so Transcendence just plays into it so well. However, these crits, they do help you out, but you're still going to be using a lot of mana for abilities, so why not have the Transcendence? Good poke, though, from Kero early on, and gets some good pressure on, as you'd expect against Baka and Zhong.
And also, realistically, the crits are kind of the off-label
Oh, this is a good play. This is what I expected from Fdot. They're going to go aggressive early. Kero's trying to save himself. Body blocks from Trix are good. Rotation from Funballer too. Root comes out. Forces purification. Dot damage is on as well. Jump over the wall from Quvo. No rotation from the team. They're going to give him up for first blood. Paradigm, I like this. They lose the first game, they'll come back and be angry and force things early.
I'm literally applauding the support play out of Trixtank, using his body to screen better than the 96 Bulls. Just completely locking everything down. Nobody can walk past him. Didn't have the abduct available, but still uses the character.
But here's the other thing. The communication by Paradigm is very strong there, because you actually saw Kero use Unravel in the lane, which showed he didn't have his backflip available to him. So they pinch him knowing he's not got backflip. I actually think if the communication was fully there, they wouldn't have worried about it, just beating him down. So I think they were all expecting the backflip to come, which never came.
Chaac obviously has lane dominance over the Bellona very early. Just hitting level 4 in the solo. Meanwhile, we're level 3 in the duo. Funball's got to run away. EmilZy, a big threat on that Sobek.
Aggression on Lawbster though in the jungle. They're going to get some damage off. Quvo comes in as well. Lawbster will survive. Return damage from Quvo, but Butcher Blades can only do so much when you can't continue to chase him down.
Yeah, Butcher Blades is an ability that will definitely be amped up as the experience lead goes in the positive direction for Paradigm. So a good thing that Baka is the one that winds up with that first blood.
And I like what Cringe Crew did there. Paradigm instantly, go aggressive with the rotation from the dual lane who had lane dominance early. Get the pick. Cringe Crew in response in mid lane realize they've got the pressure with a Neith Thor combination here. They have control, so they invade the jungle of Paradigm and look for a pick in response. Lobster barely gets out in the end of that one, but Cringe Crew trying to put some dominance on in the mid lane still, even though they died first, which is very important in this stage.
Yeah, it's all about finding those necessary windows, and right now, Paradigm find a window. 3 players surrounding EmilZy. There the dash is finally out of the pool, but Bakasura follows up. 2 kills for QvoFred himself.
Give Bakasura a window and he will use it. Get him off to a flying start like this. It could be a big issue for Cringe Crew as this game goes on. EmilZy only level 4 there, so he didn't have his ultimate to get away, which would have given the immunity to just continue moving at a decent speed, so got pinned in place a while. Eventually still got away, but Quvo chased in nicely.
And a big part about these kills going on to the Bakasura is you can see attack speed being built into that, likely the Fatalis. Baka does not scale too hotly off of power. He's all about just levels. The true damage off of Butcher Blades is where he gets his bang bang from, and that is just level up the ability.
Just level up the ability, but then you want attack speed to get as many attacks off while Butcher Blades is up is the key.
Just
That's
like
where you'll see it. So now in the mid lane, you can see 3 members of Cringe Crew now grouping up. Level 5 has been reached by EmilZy. He's got some wards online, going to be looking to place those down soon, as Repikas going to help with Kero to break up the blue buff.
3 players here.
Look at the Goal Fury start, though, by Paradigm. I expected this from Paradigm. After losing the last game, they'll be disheartened, they'll be angry, they'll come out, and these guys play with passion. A lot of players do, but Paradigm from more than one. They will sulk, they will get angry, they will be annoyed with themselves, especially at how they lost the last game. So they'll come back and be like, right, do it again.
Cringe Crew aren't going to have any friends when it comes time to land, because we saw the same thing. Cringe Crew won the first game in the Panthera set, and then Panthera won in like 17 minutes. Yep. Paradigm right now, pedal to the metal.
If I'm Cringe Crew and I go against the top teams that have been represented in Europe for a long time here, and I'm picking up victories, I'm okay with this. If I get splits, I'm okay with this.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Because things are going well. The things they need to correct is against lower-end teams, teams that are expected to beat after beating these top ones. Like the Dignitas loss, for example. They should have been looking to beat Dignitas, but Dignitas themselves playing very well lately.
Exactly. Cringe Crew and Dignitas are my 2 upper-middle-class teams, if you will, right? You've got your Pantheras and your Paradigms, and I think Fnatic belongs there by name, but not necessarily
not at the moment.
Exactly. Not necessarily by performance just yet. But in that top end, the people just underneath that cusp, That's Cringe Crew and Dignitas for me.
Oh, yeah.
And those are the two teams that I would not have predicted to be there.
I completely agree.
And a step behind is Leftovers.
I would have had Torpedo and Hungry for more.
Yeah.
As the two teams competing potentially for the 4th spot. Now it's not so much. I'm looking towards Cringe Crew, Dignitas. Sorry, for the 3rd spot. Cringe Crew, Dignitas, and Fnatic. Well, Fnatic's got a lot of work to do though.
Yeah.
Like I had them as 3 at the start of the season. I don't see them there right now because Cringe Crew, Dignitas are overshadowing them completely.
Cringe Crew and Dignitas definitely have come pretty much like a bat out of hell and just have surprised both fans, spectators, commentators, analysts, and I'm pretty sure some teams as well. This game, however, Cringe Crew not on display. Paradigm find themselves quickly up 2,000 gold thanks to some high aggressive play coming out from the jungler, QvoFred, on the newly anointed meta-specific Bakasura.
It's good aggression from Paradigm, but they need to continue this trend. At 5.5 minutes in, they've got to be looking for more picks, forcing things, and that's what Trixtank's trying to do here. But EmilZy coming around as well. There's 4 members here. If they get a good pluck onto Lawbster, great purification in response. He knew he'd be the focus. So Cringe Crew were the ones that ended up trying something there.
Yep.
Paradigm just well aware of what's going on. I love Axioz. Axioz's rotations have been very good this game. He rotated to that fight just then. He doesn't miss anything really in lane there, but the pings are coming out just to say, hey, there might be another one coming around because Xaliea is missing.
This might be a fight 3-on-3 as everybody stares at these mid harpies. Lobster tosses out a quick taunt right quick. And the second one goes to Bakasura as well. That is the benefit to having Baka on your team. 100-0 the minions in the jungle.
But the problem is Paradigm need to keep the aggression. I said this, but I didn't go into the point of why. They've got to push the lead early. Don't let Cringe Crew just farm back into this one once again. They've got an early game comp with Cuvo on this. Bakasura's got 2 kills. Once he gets his Fatalis, I want to see him explode and go for something again. Trixtank on this Khepri as well. You see early rotations out of him looking for aggression now, which is something we didn't get to see out of him the other day. You know, the last game so much. He went over to the Imps at one point. But he's very squishy. Did he steal that?
Trixtank with the
He's
ball
gonna go pick it up. Go pick it up.
And Trixtank not going to leave
Cheers,
it a
boys.
chance.
Thanks a lot.
Mate. Thank you.
All right. So Trixtank's feeling himself a little bit. He's a lot. Remember, Khepri early game now has a lot less health. A lot less health than he used to.
Yep.
But Trick's still trying to do what he does on most of his aggressive supports on a Khepri.
And that's just Trixtank. I mean, you're the one. Geb is arguably one of the most defensive supports around, but it's aggressive in the hands of Trixtank.
Well, to be fair, Geb has a lot of ways to initiate fights with Shockwave and Cataclysm.
Right.
There's a lot of things with that. With a Khepri, it's a root. It's a singular abduct. It's very similar to a Sobek,
Yes.
but a worse Sobek is what I can say, because you put yourself in the line of fire the whole time. Khepri's a defensive support because even his damaging abilities give his team protections. He's all about debuffing the enemy team and buffing his team. And zoning areas, controlling areas is what Khepri is. Geb, on the other hand, he can jump in, tank up for the front side.
QvoFred shows up, forcing Shaggyshenk into the, there it is, the
rewind.
rewind.
Perfect. And look at that Funballer in the sky to dunk back down on him. Now we're going to see Shaggy in an awkward position. He's going to stun Trixtank, who was looking for an abduct, but he didn't get hold of Cuvo, who's still going to find the kill. Very good ultimate coming out, though, from the boy Trixtank to keep Cuvo alive and give him the mobility he needed to continue chasing.
Repikas' wall almost stopped the kill, but unsuccessful this time around. Spacing out his paradigm, not going to get hit by EmilZy's ultimate, except for Trix, who will be fine in the lane.
I said that from Cuvo as well. When he gets Fatalis, go aggressive. He does so. He finds Shaggy, and what he was trying to do, you saw him dive the tower, which was very, very dangerous, but he wanted to force the rewind. If he gets the rewind, he knows Funballer's there to back him up, and Trix is on the way. Cuvo made that play happen, and he's putting it to the Cringe Crew team.
Yeah, this is exactly what you expect from the Bakasura, as you said, sort of a picture the letter U with 2 lines on it, right? The early game is great for Bakasura, then down because the mid game happens and everybody's. It's not that Bakasura is less effective. It's just that everybody else is a little bit more potent.
Well, it's like they get a little bit more tankier. They've also got more into their abilities as well for escape, including relics and itemization. So it makes it a little bit more of a tricky situation for a Bakasura to find the picks that he's looking for the aggression. So he kind of subsides them, but late game, he hits full build and he can chomp for your team just like a Kali.
Exactly. He winds up attacking the specific number is a zillion times a second, and it's just true damage. Just
it's also because late game you have big team fights where teams group up. Regurgitate. Make sure auto attacks do AoE damage as well. And AoE damage plus Butcher Blades means you're going to cleave multiple members of a team. Here we go, aggression in the jungle.
Trixtank again, the focus for
Good
Cringe
route.
Crew. But EmilZy now in some trouble. You see Bakasura, and that's a dead tank, ladies and gentlemen. True damage
Gold
from
Weaver, though,
Butcher's Blade.
being channeled, looking for it, but it jumps over the wall. Does QvoFred to get away? Qvo will survive as Shaggy rotates in. Very well played by Paradigm again. And the funny story is, now that I'm looking at this composition that we've seen Paradigm put together here, the whole plan was to play this backer, I want to say. Not the... What, did they pick Bracken? No, they picked a Bracken before the counterban phase, right?
Yes.
Right, okay.
I think the difference here is, we'll go into it, is Shaggyshenk does barely get off the rewind, putting himself in a good spot closer to the mid lane, and that'll make him survive
teleport,
this
though.
time around.
Cancelled? Was that a teleport cancelled there by Xaliea? It looks like it.
Cute.
No, he's here.
Here comes Chaac as well. Shaggyshenk, nothing to do, nowhere to go but die. Xaliea, credit for that one, all the way out of the solo lane. Now in a little bit of trouble. EmilZy under the ground, looking for the kill onto the solo, but Sprint gets him out for the moment. Looking for the last hit is Funball.
Gives it over to QvoFred. Trixtank with a great route to keep Xaliea alive there as well, which we didn't mention. EmilZy in dangerous territory, looking to back. I'm not sure if he is on that ward, or they say whether they even care. As now Axioz looking for the pick of Xaliea, going to get rooted again and stunned by Lawbster and Trixtank and abducted away. Maybe they'll return their attention though onto Axioz, who gets picked up by Qvo with the Butcher Blades again. 6-0-1 is Bakasura. If you think he's back, well, you guarantee it now.
Qvo doesn't care how tanky you are. Qvo doesn't care how fast you are. Qvo is going to chase you down, and he's going to absolutely chow down and go to town. It's just exactly what Baka does.
But the problem is like I said, level 12 is about to be, well, should be reached relatively soon. When it is, sprints start coming in line with second active. You can get away from it a little bit easier than that. You can also use Sanctuary to absorb some of that damage, buy yourself a second or two for your escape abilities to come up.
Sure.
So Paradigm need to keep abusing this. Go for the goal Furies, force fight still, and keep winning them and keeping Cringe Crew pinned down.
Don't forget that Baka passive, though. Once he gets that first kill, it can just tumble salt onto the rest of the team fight. So sprint if you may. Baka still coming for you. Can you tell that I'm just triggered by this character?
I know you don't like it.
I hate him.
Well, I don't like Chaac, and I have to see that in the game. So at least Paradigm, make sure everybody's unhappy about something.
Well, the reason that I hate Bakasura is that he's just so impossible to escape from. You jump, he jumps. You sprint, he sprints. And he's just fatalising you down the whole time.
Agreed, but the difference is here as well for Paradigm, and specifically in this game as well, he has all the kills.
Yes.
And the issue with that is that if Qvo gets picked up, then where's the rest of your team? What's the rest of your team going to do? Because you're relying pretty much on this Bakasura now. The rest of the team are just trying to farm into it, get involved. We actually saw Funballer give up a kill and let QvoFred take it, which I would have liked Funballer to pick that one up.
Funball's still in the lead. He's triple-double.
No, I know. And I know what the playstyle from Paradigm was. It was like, listen, give it Qvo, let him get his chins online earlier, which should be up around now, I'm guessing, is why he's going back to base there. But get his chins online. There you go. Fatalis, let him carry us through the game. But if by doing that, if they pick off if they pick off Qvo, then the rest of the team's going to have a bit of a struggle, I want to say.
I think even with all the kills on Funball, or even with all the kills on Qvo, Funball is ahead by a level and a half, 600 gold against his direct opposition. Qvo, or Funball, excuse me, is doing exactly fine. If Qvo does fall, Funball will still be able to just go to town.
No, I know. But give it over to Lawbster then. Not necessarily Funball. Give something to Lawbster. He's on a Zhong. He wants a Warlock Sash. Let him get that stack in,
All right,
Let him be a tanky front line. I'm not just talking about Apollo and John. I'm talking about the whole team. You need to try and spread those kills sometimes. But I agree with the chins, though. I want to say, if Qvo's playing this well, give it him. But at the same time, you're risking it. You're putting all your chips on Qvo carrying this game.
That's what Paradigm did last game with Funball. Four tanks in a whole year.
I mean, well, no, because that wasn't really the case. That was more... Qvo was a big instrumental part. They're looking for Qvo and Lawbster to combine nicely. That's what they're looking to do. With a double tankiness front line that could wade into battle and beat through them. But Cringe Crew just played it better with going for aggressive before they could initiate those things sometimes.
All right. Yeah.
You feeling me?
I feel you a little bit.
For 40 minutes in, though, this is a great position to be Paradigm. You've taken one Gold Fury so far. The second Gold Fury's respawn, which I'm surprised they're not gone for yet, to be honest. Especially now that Qvo's got these chins online. I expect now we see Funball and Zhong, Lawbster coming back from base. This should be the time for them to look for this second Gold Fury. It's going to be important to get a bigger lead as possible before the mid-game hits.
And right now, Paradigm up by 5,000 gold and 7 kills as well. And hey, if you've noticed that the Gold Fury looks a little bit different, it's more demonic in colors. It's a big reason why. There's a community event going on. If you go ahead in game and play on the Assault? No, it's Arena. If you play Arena, there's an extra round, actually.
The bonus round.
Yeah, and we've got a whole underworld event going in for all you fans at home. And that's exactly why she's a little bit red.
Tier guys at home, but Gold Fury has been started as expected now by Paradigm, but they're forcing the fight is what they're after. Round the corner comes EmilZy, abducted in, locked below half health already by the stuns. Tail whips away EmilZy, though he's still not happy to go aggressive, but there is a big ult from Repi.
Repi does well to stop the onslaught from Paradigm coming out from the left-hand side, but he's dead now. Lawbster exercised him down. 3 members from Cringe Crew on the south. Axioz trying to make the imprint from the left side into mid.
Paradigm are just playing so much better than the last game already.
Yeah.
You saw QvoFred get poked to half health, and instead of him initiating with his ultimate, he held it. He went back into the jungle and healed. Lawbster picked up the slack for his team, charges in, gets support from Trixtank with the ultimate once again, and also Funballer and Xaliea collapse too to support again. Paradigm are looking like a completely different team this time around.
Yeah, I call that the Big Daddy Emil. Every now and then, Lawbster winds up with a lot of deaths on Paradigm. Not because he's bad or whatnot, but because that's just the way that Paradigm winds up playing. Lawbster winds up either having to peel for himself or playing these tanky gods like Zhong, and that's an adaptation he's personally made to limit his deaths.
The tanky gods that he plays is because sometimes he has to peel for
Exactly.
himself.
Exactly.
He has to survive these engagements while the rest of the team does damage. That time, he was able to go aggressive on this tanky front line and get support, which makes him
see, that's what I'm saying. Lawbster takes a bunch of hits and winds up dying or playing these less offensive mages or at least builds. But every now and then, Hinduman, you get to just see Lobby come in and go, nah, you know what? Exorcism. You know what? Raw beam. And that's what Lawbster does best. Just every now and then, smack. That's my kill.
So, I've not mentioned this yet, but Kero's build on this Neith, he went straight into chins after the throwing dagger here. Now, he's after that for a power spike to deal decent damage to some of the tankier front line. But in doing so, he doesn't have much attack speed in this build, which means that he's looking for ability usage. But if you're going to go for ability usage on a Neith, then you want some power behind it, which you've not got trans. You went for throwing dagger. So he's lacking attack speed for the crit, for the auto attacks of throwing dagger, but yet he's also lacking on damage for his ability to use. At the moment, he's in a very awkward spot with this build that he's going for.
Yeah, it's very misguided. Essentially, when you look at, well, we'll break down Kero's build in a moment as Repikas gets engaged on. He's going to go ahead and ult out, just barely making it. Repikas in the yellow. Finds health in between 2 towers.
That's a good play from Paradigm yet again. Invade, be aggressive, force Repikas to defensively ult. Now that ult's on cooldown, guess where they're going?
That's the key. That's what we saw a lot out of Cringe Crew on a Paradigm, making sure that ultimate out of Trixtank was used, and now the other way, and Paradigm able to take out that Gold Fury without the threat of Thor coming from the sky.
And look at what QvoFred did there. He had his ultimate available, chose not to use it. Instead, still has it available. There may be a slight thinking by Cringe Crew now that they may have used his ultimate during that engagement, so this could come as a surprise if Qvo goes in here.
Qvo goes ahead, drops down the ult, but it's walled out by Repi.
Good abduct though, that was better, but it hits onto Axioz, not really the target they were looking for. They'll trade a tier 1 tower in mid lane here for potentially a tier 1 on the left-hand side as Shaggyshenk stays there, but look, Funballer is going to go over and defend.
Yeah, he's going to go ahead and meet up with Shaggy.
I don't think she's dunked this.
The tower's gone.
No, that's better, Funballer. I had a feeling like if he got there before the tower dies, maybe, but there's still a fight in the middle.
Axioz going to jump on in, get 2 stunned. Lawbster able to capitalize. Kero taken out. That's the 9th kill for Paradigm. The 2nd for the mid lane.
Abduct comes on from EmilZy as Shaggy solos Funballer. Not sure exactly what went on because Shaggy didn't even use his ultimate there by the looks of it. Meanwhile, Paradigm pressure in the tier 2 tower in mid lane, pushing them all back. They will get a tier 2, but it looks like Shaggy, well, he's going to put some pressure on his Repi. Is now up in the air.
He's looking for the defense against the tier 2. Lawbster able to move out of the way in time. Same with Trix and Qvo. All 3 members split up 3 directions. No follow-up.
So what... We didn't get to see this on screen because Shaggy got soloed Funballer. Funballer did get there with half health though. I don't know exactly what went down there because Sanctuary is still available there, but maybe it was on cooldown. But all I can tell is that pretty much Shaggy landed an ability and Funballer just didn't expect it and bursting him for his health is all I can really say.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now. Time stop, hit Funball. timed Rift, hit Funball. Funball was 2 basics from death, hits it before Sanctuary gets off.
Well, he's
That's
quite
exactly how that went.
Quite possibly. He did turn up with half health. I liked his positioning, but we didn't get to see the end of it.
Yep.
In the end, though, Cringe Crew did a good job. They trade tier 1 for tier 1 and an engagement that wasn't in their favor there. Gold Fury did go the way of Paradigm a few moments before that, so we check with the graphs. It should stay about the same after that Gold Fury, as you see. 7.2k gold lead, which is nothing to underestimate.
Very true. 7k is definitely a large lead to hang your hat on. Not anything to go against. And again, talking about, so just to break down sort of a general idea of builds while we're in this lull. When you're building a bunch of power, that helps out your abilities. And if you want to cap it off, if you're a basic attack hunter specifically, right? A bunch of power is good if you're crit oriented. If you're, the crit is the cap onto a power build. The chins is the cap onto a attack speed build. Because the power builds you up enough so that your crits hit hard, and the attack speed builds you up so that your chins hit more successfully.
Yes.
Right? You just have more chins attacks. Here, we see a build without really a thought process. The chins come first, and there's no attack speed to supplement it.
Rinse, repeat at the red buff again. Repi goes in to defend it, ends up forced it all out. And this time there's no Gold Fury available, so they'll take a tier 2 in mid for free. There's not a whole lot that you can see coming out from Cringe Crew there. As now Paradigm, they're looking to get a Phoenix pre-22 minutes here. Look at the aggression.
And they're coming down the mid lane very hard. EmilZy is going to tail whip a couple.
But around the back is Shaggy. He's looking for a pick on Funballer, but gets abducted. Has to Sanctuary away. Good ult from Kero comes out, but not enough to find the kill. Lawbster actually stays alive because of the ult from Trixtank.
What a mess. Everything is everywhere. Repikas uses the wall successfully, and Shaggyshenk able to pick up a kill on the Funball. That's the second time we've seen that one.
So Funballer stood in place to ult away to try and stay alive. Instead he dies, and now Trix is going to fall too. No ultimate available for him. So Cringe Crew turned the fire in his head. The Phoenix stands, and instead of going for fire, it looks like they're going to push on mid lane.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead and push mid.
Not fire?
There's a couple of members of Paradigm still up. Quvo, Lawbster, and Xaliea. Xaliea, too dangerous to go for an objective against. Quvo, too dangerous to group up against. Lawbster, too dangerous to group up against. All 3 members that Paradigm have are a threat to anybody looking at an objective.
But their
so
ults are
the tier 1
down. So there's an opportunity. There was an opportunity there. I guess they were Gold Fury as well, but they'll take what they can. They get a tier 1 tower back in response. It was a good fight from Cringe Crew in all fairness. Paradigm hard committed for the Phoenix. You saw Lawbster charge in like a bull in a china shop with his ultimate active to create a zone for them. But a good wall from Repi and a good rotation from Shaggyshenk. Change that.
You know, you mentioned this game that Paradigm likely going to be a little bit more aggressive, right? A little bit faster, right? Look at Lawbster's build and tell me the difference between this game and last game, and I love it.
Ethereal stuff, yeah.
I love it.
Or ethereal stuff, as you should say.
Ethereal stuff.
Ethereal stuff. Instead of a Warlock, it brings the same thing. The only difference is Warlock fully stacked brings more.
Yeah.
Ethereal, though, brings it all straight away instead of having to get the stacks online. Just a little bit less of everything. It takes some nerfs this patch as well.
Yeah.
No, sorry, this season, I should say.
But
it's still effective.
It's that's the thought process.
Yeah.
I like to see thought process in player builds. I want to be able to look at your build and say, this, sure, I don't know exactly, but this is what you're thinking. Gold Fury started up by Paradigm, by the way, and it's going to fall as quick as it started, and nobody from Cringe Crew able to really show up or mean anything.
Yeah, not in a great position there, Cringe Crew. It was kind of strange because Cringe Crew took tier 1 tower after the fight, win it, and then I'll just go chill. Yeah. And then end up giving up a Gold Fury for free, which they could have warded, cleared it out. I know it was down at the time, but they could have warded, cleared it up, and actually pushed out their lanes a little bit more. I mean, the only one to actually push out lane was Axioz on the right side, who's still over there, just teleporting in as the engagement goes on under the tower. Paradigm are fighting.
Sanctuary is good enough to get Kero out of trouble for the first second, but Xaliea never stops, keeps going, finds a kill just barely in front of the tier 2 tower. Lawbster able to take out Repikas in between. Now up in the air is Funball.
Will he come crashing down, though? They're actually looking for the tower. He's still up the tier 1 tower. And in the end, Funballer comes crashing down. The attention turns to Xaliea for a second, but immediately he gets himself away from the danger. Paradigm win an engagement, get a Gold Fury, tier 1 tower, and a red buff.
That's one of the big things that we're seeing out of the Apollo Ultimate. The Apollo Ultimate change. Apollo was already being chosen before the buff. Now, recently, the amount of mana used up in the sky for Apollo has gone down. So what we're seeing is that ultimate is not just an eject button or a split push button. It's now used as a satellite more often. You're able to go up in the sky, observe the scene. All right, there's 3 people on the tier 2. You know what? I can come right on down and take out the tier 1, no problem. We wouldn't have seen that before the change.
Very, very true indeed. Apollo being used as a satellite nowadays. Well, just like New World in a weird way.
Nuwa,
This is a
Thor,
way-
these are all
way to put it.
characters that are able to go up on their own whim and use their ultimate, maybe not for, I usually say off-label, like medication. The thought of that ultimate is to be able to traverse the map, but it's used in this case alternatively to find out and survey the scene.
Now we're at the stage of the game once again, similar to game one, where I wanted to call for Paradigm to group up and attempt Fire Giant and force something.
Yep.
And then we're at that stage again. Look at the level differential, the gold advantage.
12K
This
lead.
is all Paradigm's favor. What they need to do is go towards the Fire Giant now and force a fight. They need to try and make something happen now before they let Cringe Crew farm back in.
Yeah.
This happened last game. I called this out. They didn't do it. Cringe Crew farm back in and end up finding the win under crazy circumstances, but you know.
I mean, those circumstances weren't the craziest of any. It wasn't as if, you know, some weird disconnect or strange scenario. It was simply the fact Cringe Crew played a better team fight at the end.
Axioz is under so much pressure now. Kivo well aware of what he could do as he leapt in with a Fatalis and put some great damage down as well. Look at that build. He's actually going to just dive in, but Kivo's very low. Going to need an ult from Trix. Gets it just in time.
Trixtank shows up right in time, as per usual.
A mistake, though. That was a bad mistake from Paradigm. Kivo got punished a lot for nothing. Around the back, though. Lawbster. Cheeky, cheeky.
Hello, here he comes. Trucker Horn engaged, and everybody's got ghosts around them. Lawbster starts off the party by taking out Kero. QvoFred continues on by splitting in the mid, taking out Repi before he can take to the sky.
Yeah, Axioz actually tried to chase down Kivo. Not going to find it. Tier 2 tower falls for Paradigm. Good little play from them in the end. Little bit risky with how aggressive Kivo went, but the bait was there for Lawbster to come round with the surprise Zhong party bus.
Yeah, just absolutely out of nowhere. Lawbster comes from behind when Cringe Crew think they have a perfect defensive setup, but someone knocks on the back door when they're least expecting it.
It's terrible. 13-3 now, Paradigm. Much better position than last game. Although they were in the lead last game too. I'm not going to say they're going to, you know, have struggles as much as they did the last one, but it can still happen.
I mean, yeah.
I just have no faith in games anymore these days. After I used to be able to go, yeah, this looks pretty much done and be right, but nowadays I'm like, I ain't got a clue.
We've been betrayed, and honestly, it's led to a fantastic Season 3. Axioz forced over the wall thanks to aggression coming out from QvoFred. His team will again take another look towards the Fire Giant.
I like what Paradigm did there. QvoFred goes aggressive. The team were pulling the Fire Giant, but realized they could be a full fight. So they drop it and join their teammate, give him the support he needs. Who's on zone duty? That's my question. It's Xaliea and Cringe Crew. Not even interested. They're going to give up a Fire Giant. This game, completely different than game one for me right now.
Very much so. At the moment, at least.
Because Paradigm did what I wanted them to do game one. Group up, force a Fire Giant. They've done that. They're doing what they need to do, which they, you know, they know themselves that should be the game plan.
Bakasura has picked up the Executioner. We have seen a little bit of this item. What was once a staple of the Hunter position has now become a little bit passé because it's just not the same item it used to be.
Yeah, it's just the way it affects. You can see Assie's a little bit more impactful and a little bit cheaper for them. But when you full build on a Bakasura, you can sell your bombers for an execution and be quite happy. EmilZy on defense in mid lane, right hand side, Funballer split pushing, going to get zoned up by 3. But if you can keep 3 busy, then maybe the team can pressure. But instead, it's Funballer under pressure here, very low.
Yeah, Funball's going to get in some trouble.
Shaggy swinging, man.
Yeah. I mean, he's on that Chronos. He's got that Doom Orb. He's got that Shard. He's ready to fight.
Nearly got that poly too. When that poly comes
Exactly.
online, there's a little power spike once again from No Runner to Hui this game, though. As Paradigm playing this one a little bit safer, especially because Funballer had to go back to base here. They're having to wait a moment or two.
The reason I point out that Executioner, Hindu, is because it functions best when there are multiple physical attackers on your team. Funball, obviously, as the Hunter, is going to make good use of it, but it just goes to show how Paradigm thinks of Xaliea. He is a frontliner, sure, but he's about the damage. And you'll see as Paradigm takes on this mid-Phoenix, all about Xalia's damage, taking Shaggy to half.
EmilZy should fall down to QvoFred at the end of that. EmilZy did what he could as Kero then falls to Lawbster. Repi comes crashing down, but the Phoenix goes crashing down as well. Axioz does what he can. Great wall from Repi, stops the abductating Axioz and keeps him alive. But what can they do to defend the right Phoenix now?
Absolutely nothing. There it is. They're going to war. Paradigm take out the mid Phoenix and the right Phoenix in quick succession. Looks like a retreat coming out from the black and yellow, and that's exactly what we'll see. Kivo tries to get cheeky, but Repi says no from across the wall.
A little bit overindulgent by Paradigm, trying to swing back to mid lane there instead of just retreating up the right-hand side. Luckily, they don't get punished too hard for it, though. Just a little bit of a cheeky poke back. So they can recall back to base, spend up the gold that they've got from those engagements. You can see 2,000 plus gold available for Xaliea to go and spend here. That blue sun will be getting sold relatively soon, I can guarantee you that. and then look for the left-hand Phoenix and the Gold Fury look to close this game out.
Bakasura picks up the blue buff, and that will be one less thing for Cringe Crew to be able to shorten their lead. 29.5 minutes in this one. Cringe Crew have only found themselves with 3 kills, 2 of which have gone the way of the Hunter, and the gold, well, paints a very dire picture. They're down almost 20,000 gold. Paradigm are going to make sure that they don't have, they being Cringe Crew, have any chance to really shorten that lead as the Gold Fury goes their way. And ladies and gentlemen, we're just shy of 20K.
Now the funny thing is Cringe Crew, I'm not sad at the moment. Cringe Crew have had a freaking great 2 weeks. They beat Panthera, so they split with Panthera, they're going to split with Paradigm. With, let me just add this, Defiance was their coach for one of those sets, and their new roster member Axioz comes in this week, and they still find a win. This is good for Cringe Crew. This is not a bad thing. The first half of the season, say you don't go to DreamHack Fdot.
Sure.
Damn!
I mean, I'm going
That's so sad.
Sure.
But can we get to World still?
Exactly. Exactly.
With this roster, potentially, it's looking good. We're getting better and better as every single season goes on. Yeah. Hey, Worlds is going to be the next thing after DreamHack to be focusing on. Well, you know what? This is not a bad situation to be in.
Exactly. If I'm Cringe Crew, I'm definitely looking at the first split as the split to really get everybody together. Well, you're looking at this one, you might have their hands on your own mouths trying to eke out the win for Cringe Crew. They've shown that they can play defense by themselves. We'll see if they can do it in a much more heavy-handed
I wanted to see Cringe engage, and they go for it. They pluck Trixtank, unfortunately, and they're going to focus a little bit onto Trixtank, but Qvo on the back, he's going to focus onto Kero, who? He's gone. That's what's happened there. Qvo still taking a lot of pressure, going to get ulted so he can continue chasing down. Phoenix will kill him, so he regens back to full, and Trixtank perfectly positioned as the rest of Paradigm charge in for the final Phoenix, looking for the win.
Bakasura.
He's back.
9-0-5.
He's back.
Shell is popped. Titan is jumped on. Paradigm have 5 members. Cringe Crew have 3. Didn't matter last time, but this time is a much different story. Go to town, Charlie Brown. QvoFred winds up on top, along with the rest of the squad, and Cringe Crew and Paradigm split down the middle.
Clinical finish for me from Paradigm there. They lose game 1 in a backwards and forwards match, which could have gone either way. As we saw potentially both Titans fall. However, Paradigm that game, they do what they do. When Paradigm get upset, they just hit this trigger every single time.
Just go off, go ham. Go for it, Qvo. Let's take a look at First Blood. It came the way of everybody's
Look at all the bloods.
Demon.
Look at all the bloods. And this was Trixtank that set most of this up, honestly. Look at what he did with the body blocks. The war was great from Repi. Trix is the one that's forcing this with Funballer's rotation too. This was the duo lane that allowed Qvo to get off to that first kill start.
I mean, this was, you say dual lane. Honestly, I just say Trixtank. Just superior ability to control his character. EmilZy gets away. Just kidding. Bakasura jumps.
Realizing he just had enough damage left on him to actually pick it up before Butcher Blades wore off, and his ultimate did too. And there's just more and more of this time and time again. He's just like, oh, you want to fight? Okay, who's next? You want to fight? Hey, Kero, you want to fight? Yeah, I'll fight you. What are you doing, Kero? What are you doing? Wait, where are you, Kero? Where are you? Oh, hello, friend. What are you? You're a tank? That makes me laugh. Oh, look, I'm still alive.
I hate this character. QvoFred tearing it up on the Bakasura.
What a difference a singular buff to a god makes.
Incredible.
And the only buff that happened to this was eat minion. He can now eat minions during, well, basically from full health in the jungle.
With that change, Paradigm split down the middle.
Well, Paradigm do climb, though. They climb to 6 and 4, which keeps the Dignitas at bay for the time being, who are now 3rd, Paradigm now in 2nd. There's still games this weekend, though, which could influence the standings some more.
Man, this whole European scene, please leave the standings up for just a moment. Fnatic are in the 7th place, and they are 2-6, sure. All things notwithstanding, Fnatic is one of the better teams in Europe.
Yep. Well, no. That last year, they were the better teams in Europe.
Sure.
Are they this year?
I mean, I sincerely believe so. When we've seen the point I'm trying to make, when we've seen Fnatic play at their top level, they've looked like a top team.
It's true, but it's still early season. This is still week 4, 10-week season.
Let me get to my point. When Fnatic plays at their top level, it's 11. When Fnatic plays at their top level, they look like a top tier team, right? You could say that about every team above them.
I agree.
From 7 to 1, every single team looks like a top tier team.
The only thing I can guarantee is Pantera will still be number 1.
You and I both. Let's take a look at the weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Saturday is going to be very exciting with Fnatic and their doubleheader. This is their chance to prove what
They
I
have
just
to
said
climb.
and climb the ladder.
Have to climb. They need to find at least 3 wins, I want to say, out of this to really be in contention. They can't really drop too many games. But Torpedo and Hungry for More, they need these wins too. Big games for them. But Sunday, we're back to LA.
Enemy takes on Envy. Luminosity will go head-to-head against Soar. The new kids on the block. And there we have it. Team Eager versus Enemy. DJ Pernicus a return to glory with his earlier games. And Enemy, they're going to try and keep on keeping on. Payne definitely wants to keep that bright smile on. And we'll see how it works out.
I do not see NA. I can't predict a single game in NA now. The only one I can predict is Randozo's. No offense, guys. It's the only ones I can predict. The rest, I've got no clue. No clue.
Ouch. So, Fnatic, doubleheader tomorrow.
Yes.
How many do they take home?
I'm gonna go 4-0, but I expect it's gonna be 3-1. I would like it to be 4-0, but it's gonna be 3-1.
Sure. I think something similar. You can check that out. Make sure your picks are in for tomorrow. It's gonna be a big weekend of free FP.
Smite.
For myself, Hinduman, all of our commentators, everyone behind the camera and otherwise, and especially Peckies, have a wonderful Friday.